What's up, creators? Welcome back to another episode of the
Creator
Show. My name is Master Lim, and I am your talk show host. It's a talk show, right? I'm your talk show host for today. And on the right corner, we've got Master Shri Akarshana here with us.
Namaste.
Next to that, we've got Natalia Evolve.
Natalia.
Nutella.
I nearly forgot your name.
I think everybody knows her in the circle now.
Yeah, everybody knows Nat. Nat's like your weekly, everybody, let's go with your yoga mat. Big smile on your face, right? Yeah, Nat, that's you, right?
She's acting introvert.
I know.
She watched my introvert video and she said, I'm going to be introvert.
I looked at Nat before the show and I said, you need to speak a lot throughout this show with Master and Manh being on here. Oh, yeah, and we've got Manh on here as well, the Vietnamese kiddo as well.
I think the last time you guys seen Man, his hair was more Korean.
I'm going through a lot of changes, like even
no
glasses now, a bit more tan.
But did you tell them what happened to your glasses?
It's what puberty does.
Maybe we will.
Tell them what happened to your glasses. Do you know what happened to his glasses?
What happened with your glasses?
Right. So when we was out in Bali, when we did the
I never
water
know
offering,
about this stuff. Huh?
we did the offering to
the
ocean.
Yeah.
You offered your glasses.
Yeah, I offered my glasses.
Yeah,
that's good.
But
the ocean can see
one moment I
everything.
had my glasses, and then the big wave came in. I was like, oh.
Do you know, it's so funny. Heidi had her sunglasses on as well, and you know, I think the creators would have saw maybe some of the clips from that video already by this point. I don't know. Well, anyway, we were out doing the offering by the ocean, and the last night it was so beautiful, and then Heidi was just there, and this wave came and it just washed Heidi. Washed Heidi out, and her sunglasses went missing, and she just gathered like a group of like 10 people around. Can we all start to find my glasses, my sunglasses? But she never got them.
It's interesting what you're saying, because actually by the ocean I actually had a big lesson that day when we had the offering. You know how a lot of people, what we do, we actually trying to manage and control everything instead of mastery. You know, and I actually didn't really get that till recently. But anyway, it was the Sunday when we were doing the offering to the ocean, so that the story, like we had the command like from Grandmaster that everyone in Suhasan, and I'm like, I changed just my shorts, and I was just I just changed basically my shorts and t-shirt. Everything was dry, and I looked down and I see the basically the sound. Everything is wet, and I'm thinking I just want to stay dry. So what happened? I looked around and I see everyone is like sitting, like look like this. I don't want to really look my head. Everyone's sitting in Suhasan. So I'm like, okay, I just sit down with
Nat
my
was in
feet.
squat. Nat was pretty much squatting because she didn't want to get
But
wet.
it didn't help though, did it?
Well, so what I'm trying to say that's the kind of like, you know, I had this voice in my head and I was trying to manage, controlling basically myself. So I'm like, okay, let's just sit down. But I had this voice like command, and I'm like, okay, I get it. So I'm
but
like,
not fully committing.
and then what I'm like, okay, I get it. So I'm ready to sit down in Suhasan. And when I actually literally just sit down, the ocean just all the way
wiped you out.
And you know, it's interesting that only that time it didn't really came back later on. So I actually just thought afterwards, I'm like, okay, I get it. See, this is a lot of time what we're trying to do, manage ourselves and actually controlling instead of like just let it go and just come from inside and just allow it.
And also the universe will always tell you who's in control.
Yeah.
So you want to see who's in control.
The universe is like, sit down, Nat.
Like a playful kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're in control? I'll show you.
Yeah.
Actually, they took my... I think there's an abundance in the ocean. I think I know. I finally understand why now. Because they took my GoPro 4 years ago. The same ocean.
In the same
spot.
ocean, yeah.
Yeah, imagine the whole ocean. How many treasures it has.
Dean, one of our
It
wealth
looks at the
yogis.
latest technology and says, I'll take that one.
Yeah. Dean from Wealth Yogi as well got his wallet wiped out and everything like that as well.
Really?
So last night, whenever
Into the ocean?
Yeah, whenever we was all going for our dinner.
The ocean must really like love having us every year.
It's
like,
abundance.
what do we have this time?
Dean's
Oh my God.
laptop, driver's license, credit cards, all gone.
Yeah.
So Mike Chang, or Mike, had to like look after him for the 3 days till get him back to UK and stuff and all that as well.
Wow.
But yeah, but speaking of the couple of trips that we were on, a lot of our creators was obviously following with Instagram and with YouTube and stuff as well. How did you guys find the trips? As far as the feedback was, it was absolutely incredible, right?
It's so nice to meet them in person. Don't you think so?
Yeah,
Like you see them
yeah.
always through the screen, but
We're talking about you guys, by the way.
All of you.
All of you. Those of you who show up. Yeah. Next year we actually have an event called Soulfest, which is like global leadership conference where all creators come together as well. So it'd be nice to see more of your faces there. Actually.
Yeah. So having everybody together in one space, and I don't know if you guys are finding it as well, but I think it was just, we were actually having this conversation yesterday. We were speaking about how when people come to our events, they walk away feeling so like, oh my God, I just want to spend so much time with you guys because that's our life every day of the week. But we were saying that a lot of those guys still need to go back and face reality, you know, and when we were talking about the reason why Master created Wealth Yogi was to create that change within people so that they can actually develop and transform into new spirits, because so many of the times we've had events in the past and some of the creators watching right now come to Superpower Live, they feel so pumped up, or they come to Global Leadership Conference and then a couple of days later it kind of deflates and goes back to normality. Why do you guys think that is?
Well, it really goes to show that, you know, having the right environment does play a big part in your self-development. Because it was about 2 years ago where I had someone within our circle, his name was Richard. He was like, man, the reason why you're not getting the success that you want is because your environment is shit. And I was like, remember Richard, he was really straightforward with you.
Yeah.
But then sometimes being straightforward and honest really does make the message land to you. And he was like, man, if you want the success, or if you want to get yourself to that next level, change who you surround yourself with. Because it's the five people that...
But you know, you're one of the few, because there's always minority. I mean, we all jumped out into a different environment, right? I mean, Nat also flew all the way from a different place, right? All the way to here. But we're the minority who do that. And I think it's like we need to understand from their perspective. Actually, people usually can't see a problem with something they're used to.
Yeah.
And even if they see the problem, the problem they see is minor in comparison to when you've left. It's just like when you say, I don't know if it's okay to say this, when you said you don't want to go back home to see,
of
to
course,
see your family.
Yeah,
I don't know if your family will be watching this.
They're probably waiting to see, what did he say? Go, reveal him.
Want to go
what
home?
did he say?
What
Don't
does this
wanna go
mean?
home.
No, but it's like when you said, like, for Christmas, I mean, instead of spending it with your parents, you're spending it with your Polish parents.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
And what's like, it's because of what you were saying, right? You said when you go home, you feel what?
Well, whenever you go back home, it's like, to them, like, you know, parents, if you happen to be watching this episode, which is very slim, anyways,
could you imagine
like,
this is the only
they
episode
say,
they watch?
like, my sisters called me and stuff, and they said, like, you know, oh, Dad's sitting there going, you would think he would just come home for Christmas, like he's all the time with those guys over the whole year, traveling all around the world. You'd think Christmas time he would just come back, but then they only see it from their perspective, because whenever I go back home, like, to be honest with you, I don't want to say that there's nothing at home for me anymore. That sounds a bit rich, and like, you know, I've had a lot of beautiful things from back home, but currently now there's nothing
for you
there.
back home.
Let's just be straightforward. They're not watching the episode. There's nothing there, right? Whenever I go there, it's
heartbroken. They're gonna be heartbroken.
It's
Don't
like,
say that.
yeah, they've definitely switched off by now. They're like, my phone's gonna go in a moment, right? But it's that environment that's created, that's just that normal environment, which is going back into the reason why I left. Something called me to leave whenever I did walk away. And that I actually wanted to ask you guys your opinion on this, was for those people, a lot of people say, oh, you're lucky that you can just do that. You've no commitments, you've no family, you've no kids, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
What advice can you give to people who are watching at home who want to do that?
We all have family, by the way. We all have family.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, the people that can't just get on a flight. I left home whenever I was 21 to come here because I had no commitments and I was ready to
there's no
just...
can or can't. I mean, you had no commitments, you're lucky, but loads of people have commitments. Even Nat had commitments.
Well, I
Yeah.
believe that it's only down to one thing. It's actually the word what is coming in my head is courage. You know, you do actually have to have a courage, and you have to be on this journey of seeker. And if you're not, like, if you're kind of very comfortable and if you don't really want to open your mind, you're never going to be, probably. So when you actually step in, and I believe that one of my teacher, I think you actually were listening with me, that teaching, she said, you basically, everyone, we have this cosmic alarm, in our body. And I believe that what does the cosmic alarm mean? That when you start actually asking yourself a question, okay, what is my passion? What am I wanting to do? That's already is a sound that you're already on that journey. And what you're going to do with, with this path is up to you. And you do have to have that courage, it's like, because what I really find out, this journey is not ready for everyone, and it's not really easy as well. In order to really move forward, you have to dive deep. Otherwise, you will be just sticking, and you're not going to be able to wake up in this life. So,
would you say you were scared whenever you started out?
Sorry, I just found the title for the show.
Yeah, I literally looked over at Master there now, and I was like, right, he's either replying to a really serious message. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Did I? Because
my cosmic alarm was going off.
Yeah.
Well, I believe there's something. This is what I was saying to actually,
What?
To my students where I was teaching, that it's all about. It kind of came to my head the cosmic, because it's all about this alarm, the cosmic, because it's living like.
So what is the cosmic alarm?
It's like soul calling.
It's like soul calling, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So it's like all the questions, the questions where did you ever ask yourself the question? Okay, where is my purpose? What am I doing? I don't know. Who am I?
So the big problem is, right? Everybody, their cosmic alarm is going, and they go at different times.
Yes.
But most people, they hit the snooze button.
Yes.
And they keep hitting the snooze button for their whole life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Do
the
you
problem.
actually think everyone's cosmic alarm clock is going? Like, really? Because I'm looking at some people and I was like, your alarm clock mustn't have any fucking batteries in it.
No, not just that. Some people, they've set their alarm really quiet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, they haven't set it quiet.
Yeah.
They've set everything else louder.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? Imagine if you had your alarm on, then you had the radio on, the TV on, everything else on, Facebook swiping, everything.
Okay, so everyone's alarm clock is always on. It's just some people
calling.
Yeah.
Universe is always guiding and calling,
Wow.
but most people don't
gosh.
hear it.
You can't hear it, it's like a snooze, exactly what Master said. It's just you can hear
So-
it. You're pretending you're not hearing.
Yeah. Master, when did your cosmic alarm clock go off?
It's going off again right now.
No, seriously, like I don't know if
No,
I know we've
this
heard
is.
some
I
of
think
your
it's
stories.
a constant, right? It's like your wake up alarm will keep going, right? And then sometimes it's louder. Sometimes more important situations it'll go louder, right?
But
Hmm?
well, I don't know. Well, I want to share a joke. I'm not a good with jokes, but can I actually say? And if you guys maybe, well,
At
I
least
don't know.
Dan's laughing.
If not, you're gonna just edit this. So basically, recently I was reading something. It was a joke, like soul joke. I don't know if you guys hear about
Soul joke.
a soul joke.
Soul
Like
joke.
your soul.
Yeah. So basically, the soul was sleeping, right? So imagine this now. You can imagine this. The soul is was sleeping and took a nap, and this nap was for 75 years, actually.
Oh my god!
I don't know if we're laughing because the joke was
Please,
good or was it
please don't unsubscribe to our channel. Please, we'll never do that again.
transition, guys.
I told you I'm not good with
So,
jokes.
Master, when did your cosmic alarm clock go off?
No, I think it's me. Well, I left home 17, and family was against it. Mum was crying. I'm not. By the way, those parents watching and with kids, I'm not encouraging here. It's just this was my story. That's all. But something, my cosmic alarm was going off. It said, school isn't for you. College isn't for you, and you need to go and do your own thing. So, and I just left. I rebelled, big rebel.
Wow.
I was a good boy all the way up to then.
Were you actually up
Very
until
good boy,
17?
Yeah. I used to listen and not speak and everything. Yeah.
And then
So
boom.
do as told.
And then you stormed out of
But
the
I
house
think
and you said,
sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
I had a very strict upbringing, family. So I think when you're not allowed, I wasn't allowed to chew chewing gum until I was 13.
Really?
wow,
all the
Camho,
kids-
that's crazy.
All the kids were chewing gum.
Wow.
Is that an Asian thing?
Well, when was your first chewing gum experience, man? He still hasn't.
Well,
No,
when
but
did your cosmic alarm clock go off, man?
It's very similar to what Master said. I did I was always good.
You ran away.
No. I did a rebellious thing.
What did you do?
Did not listen to my mom. So it came
And
to
you chewed chewing gum.
no, it came to a situation where I had to make a decision whether to listen to my inner voice or whether to listen to my parents.
But sometimes your parents become in a voice too, right? You just hear this voice going.
Yeah, and I look back to that decision, and I think if I didn't make that decision to choose what I wanted to do, and not because of what someone else wanted to do, like I couldn't mind. I wouldn't be in this situation right now.
You're hooking us a bit too much here. What did you do?
I made the decision to so for the program to join Master's 12 months.
Oh wow!
Oh,
It was
yeah.
rebellion to join my
Yeah.
program.
Wow.
I remember that night. As soon as I got home, I was like, "Mom, I want to do this," and she was like, "Son, if you spend even a single penny, I won't even call you my son anymore." It was that deep. I went upstairs and I just cried, and
I didn't know
I took
this.
that leap of faith.
Wow.
Like, regardless of
Whoa,
what
we
she
never
said.
knew this.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I took that leap of faith regardless, and for the first few days, she would not even speak to me.
Wow.
It was that brutal, and I looked at my mum and I was like, I made a promise to her. Like I said, if I don't make it, then what I do is I'll come work at your nail shop doing pedicures for the rest of my life.
No way. Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, because Vietnamese have the
Nail shops.
Harahane.
Yeah, you have the nail shops. Yeah, with
Yeah.
Vietnamese people.
Wow.
But you have to, like, for me personally, that emotion stuck with me for the rest of my life now, because now I can like spread the message and say, sometimes you need to do the difficult things in order to make your future the
Beautiful.
best possible outcome.
Wow.
Because at the end of the day, one thing that you can't live is with regret. Regret is such a powerful emotion. And
So that was your cosmic alarm then.
yeah, it
Something
really
just
was.
pulled you towards it. It's an emotion.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Emotion does really play a part with how you put.
That's
things
what
forward,
that's
yeah.
what actually I recently, when I was speaking about from our mastermind, I was talking about emotion, and for a long time we've been saying emotion is energy and motion, but actually what I come to realize is there's two types of emotion, and the first type is a brain stimulated emotion, where we think about something, let's say a past experience, it creates an emotion, then we feel that emotion, we feel its guidance or intuition. And I said there's a second type of emotion, which is not brain stimulated. So mind didn't work, it was just a pull. And that is energy and motion, understanding that energy is always moving, it channels through you in motion. And by following it, moving with it, that's energy and motion, that's following guidance. So I think that in each of these case scenarios, sometimes it doesn't make any logical sense. So it doesn't matter how brain isn't gearing for that emotion, but it's some external emotion, external energy coming through.
Yeah.
And I think that external energy is more that calling or that cosmic alarm or whatever you want to call it,
There we go. Wow. We were speaking about
my mum used to do this thing. She I don't know if your parents did it, but it was kind of like a do whatever you want. And then in those moments, you're like,
Do I do it? Are you testing me right now?
does that mean I should do it or not? But when I left home, that wasn't do whatever you want. That was a strict no.
yeah.
But I just had to do it. It's really weird.
But it's so interesting now, and I think it's the same for you as well. How for Master, your mum travels all around the world with us now and stuff. And like Dan and I was just saying, she's just like everyone just loves your mum being there at all the events and stuff like that. How is the transition from leaving home to obviously finding that path? Because obviously there's a lot of people here who want that for their families right now. In that moment, whenever you said that to your mum, that's all you wanted for your mum. It must be really beautiful to see that whole transition to where your mum's at right now, because for me personally, I never
I'm
had
waiting
that.
for your dad to come on tour with us.
No, do you know what I mean? Like it's such a nice transition to see that, because my parents, everything that I did, and I think it was because I was child number 4, by the time they got to me, they was like, listen, you can do whatever you want type of thing. My other siblings were more rebellious, and then when it got to me, it was totally fine. So every decision that I made, I didn't go through anything like you guys had got there now. They were just like, as long as you're safe, as long as you're happy, that's the main thing.
It's like my younger sister. The same.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the younger ones is like that.
Yeah, so I didn't experience anything like that. So surely that, looking at that right now, you must be really like proud of yourself and proud to be able to see where it has gone to, though, right?
I feel like it was a long time ago, so I can't really recollect when it actually was. Because as soon as I left, I made it my like I had to make it work.
You had to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's like that. I think the same thing is probably going through your mind as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because a lot of the time when parents disagree with what we're doing, it's not that they don't love us, is they don't know any other option.
Yeah.
They think that's best for us.
Yeah.
Within what they know, it's best.
Mm.
But it doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It just
Mm.
means within what they know. And we need to understand, where do they come from? They always come from a place of care, always
Yeah.
come from a place of love. Obviously,
Otherwise
they
they
don't want you
wouldn't
to
say
die
it.
or anything, right?
Yeah.
They care for you and they love you. That's why they're so strict. So if we understand that at the end of the day, what is their intent? Their intent is they want the best for us, but they don't know how to be the best parent to give that space to grow
Yeah.
and protect us at the same time. So if we know they want the best for us, then for me personally, I said, if I make this commitment, if I take this courage and I make this step, then I better make them proud.
Yeah.
I better not need them to worry anymore, and I better make them feel like, wow, like he's safe,
Yeah.
he's happy. And so actually I used that as my drive. And so
Nice.
that's why it was very quick for me, like literally within a year, 2 years, 3 years, I was on my feet doing my own business. And then I was able to go back and start looking after them, take them on holiday and things like that. And when you can do that in your early 20s, and they felt like the proudest parents, and
Nice.
and today they are the proudest parents. So I think sometimes understand where their intent is and how can you satisfy that need for them, and maybe make that your duty, make that your responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you say that, Master, because sometimes for them to be able to change, you have to change yourself first. Because, at that moment, they won't understand where you're coming from until they see that transformation within yourself, and they see you are making the results, or, you're getting yourself to that next level. Then they'll be more open to it. They'll be like, oh, okay, this works now.
Well,
I think another thing we need to understand is that actually a lot of parents, it's their experience of being a parent. If you think about it, before you're becoming a parent, your thought will be, how do I be a good parent? So if you think by the time you get your kids, actually your thought is, how do I be the best parent? So it's not like they have the answers. It's only they will try their best. But from a kid's point of view, it's always like, oh, they must know. But
Yeah.
actually, I mean, I know some parents wouldn't like their kids watching this, right? But then,
Let's get
but
this
then,
guy.
but then the reality is this: it's part of their journey. It's part of the parents' journey. It's part of their, they're trying to figure it out also,
So with having that old time way of bringing up, let's say in our generation, whenever we were all kids, obviously.
I like how you class your time as old time as well. I think you're new time.
Listen, you know what I mean.
When we talk about millennials and these new ones, these
Yeah.
TikTok people.
Yeah,
like you.
my gosh, those young TikTok people, my gosh. But you know what I mean? So how do you think then, because of how things are changing right now, technology's advancing, people are making money online, all the way things are going right now, this conscious awakening that the world is having right now.
So
like,
everyone should just leave home and
Like-
speak to their family online.
No, but like seriously, right? Like allow, like the art of allowing, let people do what they want to do, don't control anything. How do you think the next generation of kids are going to turn out?
But that's not happening though. It's not happening. In our world, we think that it's happening because it's our world.
Yeah.
That's why a
okay.
lot of people are homeschooling, but it's our world. Actually, outside, people are just as strict. It's the same. It's still happening.
Yeah.
So actually, nothing's going to change. Actually,
Really?
it'll continue to be that way.
Oh.
It's just you
Oh,
were
well-
blessed to be in a
That's
free spirit life.
there we go. Well,
yeah.
moving on from this topic, this is actually something that we were discussing yesterday, and a lot of people will like this one because it's pretty much the primary of what we're all about. And we actually had this conversation this morning too, as well, is about understanding that what you focus on expands. Just recently, Master came down with some sort of spiritual cleanse or something. Would that be right? I don't know, something. Right?
Oh, what happened yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh,
What
wow.
happened yesterday, right?
What's still happening now?
Yeah, what's still happening now, right? We've been flying for a long time, and then I don't know, something upset Master's stomach, right? Something along the lines of that. No, he doesn't want to say the details because of what we believe in.
I was bedbound
Yeah, bedbound.
for a day.
Yeah, but we were speaking about how in this conscious world and understanding law of attraction, we don't have the right to be able to speak to people to tell them how bad our problems actually are. So whenever people was asking Master yesterday, "Oh, Master, how do you feel?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm okay," when he clearly wasn't, right?
What are you talking about? I was so strong.
Well, yeah, no, but like we knew
did
that you
everything.
weren't.
It's like this. Basically, came back, and then that day straight away was feeling a little bit off, and then, bam! I was just like gone, like everything, temperature, everything, right? that was yesterday. So in the morning, I didn't sleep because I was so ill. And then in the morning, we had a meeting, right? We had the meeting with the accountant. Angela asked, Masa, are you sure you can go? I said, yep. Because you can't say no, because if we say no, then that's...
We're saying to the universe, hey, I'm sick.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, of course I'm fine. And then it's like, oh, are you sure you're okay? You're looking a bit, no, I'm okay. I'm great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right? I'm powerful. Inside is dying.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yep, okay, let's go. So then I just get into the car. The moment I get into the car, I'm like, oh, I'm dying. So I just lie down, I'm dying. And in my like, the feeling was I'm dying. And then these guys would ask, Master, you okay? Yep.
That was it the whole way.
See, it's interesting what you're saying. Well, I do actually, I see your point. However, I have to say, I don't really, like, this is my opinion, I don't really agree that we should ignore, I would say, denial emotions. Because that is something that, if you're not feeling right, if something is triggering you or so, and you feel like, okay, well, I'm going to raise my vibration and so on, that's what basically I witness on my journey, not only myself, but actually people who I work with, that denying and actually not saying what actually is going on. What do? You push basically that away, and that will come out. It's like a guacamole. I don't know if you know, guys. It's like kind of you push something down, like
What's
I don't know.
Is
Polish.
guacamole not a
No, the
food?
guacamole.
Yeah.
You know the
Oh,
game.
Oh,
guacamole.
guacamole. I think it's
Okay.
guacamole. I was like, what?
That's what they said in the game. Anyway, you push something, you press something down, and basically will come back. So it's what I believe, that acknowledging and actually be honest to yourself. You don't have to say that's out loud to other people or to anyone who is listening you. However, just being honest to yourself, because otherwise you're living with that denial and it's like, yeah, I'm okay. Well, you are not okay, right? So it's like, I believe that
You are not okay.
You're not
I
okay.
mean, like this,
You are not
this
okay.
basically, like, so saying even at the front of, I do like a mirror work, for example, I did. And I like, if I would say, well, is everything okay? It's not. And I think you have to be honest to yourself, like really. And when you actually acknowledge that emotion and connect, that's how you can move forward.
So I was saying to Nat this morning that there's people in this world who've got problems that feel the need, and for them it works, that they need to speak to someone to be able to get through that. Now, Nat is an example, I believe, of someone that's really good with people like that, because I'm the total opposite to that.
What Nat is saying is very correct, because for the majority of people don't have the power to be able to get rid of this type of thing by positive thinking. In fact, when they're positive thinking inside, they're actually very negative also.
Yeah.
It's a cover up.
Yeah.
So you can't cover it up, because then it's building, it's suppressing, and then it'll come out even greater. So this type of thing, like, for example, I said to you yesterday, I said, if I had not had left the house yesterday, let me tell you where I'd be lying in bed dying.
Yeah.
But instead I was walking. And actually today, like I'm sitting here speaking like this, actually I wouldn't be like this today if yesterday also I was lying there, because actually I'll be another day. Because you know how food poisoning or whatever you want to call it will last a few days easy like that. But I always say not positive energy wins, not negative energy wins, the most powerful energy wins. If you have built up your power enough to be able to do something like that, then you can. But for majority of people,
It's not like that.
not.
So see, it's because
So-
you do actually, you have to be on that journey already.
Yeah.
So in the same sense as what you're speaking about there, actually a lot of people, if they don't speak about their stuff, actually they're stuck.
Yeah, they don't
The
feel like
energy is
they're
also
they don't
stuck.
feel like they're progressing, right?
So I think that what we're talking about here, what you're talking about, isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
In the same sense as in our world,
Yeah.
it's very, I can't even remember last time anybody complained or bitched and moaned or said there was a problem, right? It very rarely happens, but our environment gears for that.
Yeah.
Because every single day we're conditioned so strongly by that. It's very different. But advice for majority of people, they shouldn't, just what Nat was saying before, they shouldn't cover up
But
that
but
way.
it's really even depends, because it's like when you actually see that emotion, it's not about, you do have to have that strong mindset in order to go through it. So connecting with that, okay, I see it. Well, I see it. Now what you're going to do with that, because it's a choice. We all have a choice. And I think majority of people who are not on this journey, maybe, and they don't have that power yet, they will just probably complain and focus on that. And obviously, what is going to happen? It will expand.
Yeah.
But to have that power, you will say, okay, I see it. Okay, I get it, but now what you're going to do with it? Because you have a choice, and it's the power of choice.
Yeah.
And I believe that here is a lot of people where they're stuck, because this is a choice. And how can you shift basically that vibration from the low vibration to actually high? And how can you really dive deep? And
that's why I believe very strongly in the mission that we're putting out there to the world, the work that Master and Grandmaster's doing. We're new to this recent since you've came back off your journey about preparing your container. That's your physical, your mental, your spiritual container. I believe that's something that everybody who's on the seeker's journey should actually be setting out to do, because once you do that, then you can adapt to be able to take that mindset and look at things from a totally different perspective. But from the majority of people, I do agree with what you guys have been saying here, is that they can't.
It's like if any team member said to me, I'm feeling really ill today, Master, I would say get some rest. Because people can't. People don't have that. So we
go. Well, hey, I think that would. Did you have something? Did somebody else have something else to say?
Well, it
feels very incomplete. They still need to finish.
Oh,
I have to
one last thing.
This is so true. I remember when Master was saying about the word. That was a couple of maybe like 5 weeks ago. You were talking about the manifestation, and I hear the first time this word equipped. That was like after India, and I remember that time you said everyone who is in this room is for a reason. And anyway, I was sitting there, and a lot of things was like beautifully, and I'm like let's just everything download to myself. And what I remember really, that was the word which actually stuck in my head, equipped. And now actually moving forward on this journey, the equipped is such a mega completely, like, it's another level of understanding what actually this means. And I believe that this is what we were talking about. See, it's like the importance of equipping yourself is so important, because exactly if you equip yourself every single day, you have that courage, you have that strength, you know what to do, you know how to deal with it, right? But so you have to be strong enough. But in order to have strong mind, you have to have strong body. You have to actually have strong spirit, and that's mean you have to have strong body first, right?
And that means they have to practice yoga with you every Sunday.
That's actually
I'd create a circle.
Which is why I think for anybody who's actually serious about this journey, the Creator Circle Plus, for those of you who are not a part of the Creator Circle Plus, is basically a platform where we get together every week to train both the body, first of all. So we practice yoga, and that's one of our trainers on there. And then we bring in a lot of people like Master, Grandmaster. We have a lot of different influencers who come in to teach us the theory about how to equip ourselves with these necessary tools in order to progress in our life and take it to the next level.
It's a powerful coaching. So
it
is, it's like really
weekly coaching,
stuff.
right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately for today, we are out of time. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show here. Nat, thank you so much for coming on at such late notice. Master Shri Akarshana, as always, thank you so much for joining us. And for those of you who are not part of the Creator Circle Plus and you are interested in it, there will be a link in the description below. Go check it out. Join us. It's like $19 a month for monthly coaching with all of us, every week. So be sure to check it out in the link below. And remember, if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Comment below, let us know what you think of all of these videos. We are releasing podcast shows every week discussing different topics, your topics, answering all your questions on here live. And remember, if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the subscribe button somewhere above or below this video. And for now, we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Namaste.
Namaste.